All right, welcome to another episode of JYR Trades. Hopefully, everybody had a great Easter weekend. Yeah, I'll tell you, it feels like it's been a while since we last traded, right? Since Thursday, and so today being Monday, I was definitely not. I wasn't eager, but I was definitely looking forward to another day of learning from the market. All right, with that said, guys, remember that everything I post on this channel is for educational purposes. Okay, nothing is financial advice, but I will say this: if you want to learn market structure, if you want to learn auction theory, equilibriums, liquidity, if you want to learn how the big institutions trade, you're in the right place. Okay, with that said, if you want to join me on my journey, on my journaling journey, because really this channel I started it for the one purpose and one purpose only, to journal the market each and every day. And what better way than to actually be able to go back and look at the videos, look at pre-New York and after. All right, with that said, if you're interested in joining this journey with me, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comments. All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So in today's session, I break down a unique New York Open where everything pointed towards continuation, but the market had other plans. We opened outside of value to the upside with POCs leaning north and migration confirming strength. A textbook continuation setup. But instead of trending clean, price delivered a control fake move, a failed push, and then transition into what we call a rotational behavior. Okay, this is not your typical trend day. This breakdown is going to focus today on reading POCs versus mids, who actually has control, understanding when continuation is weak, identifying early signs of rotation instead of forcing trend bias, execution, timing, and what I did right and what I did wrong, because I tell you, I did something wrong today. But I will say this, through experience and understanding the market, I did not panic. Okay, in fact, I did something after I did the wrong thing, I did the right thing, made my trade even better. This is part of my ongoing journey documenting my real-time learning through auction market structure using my Remitar framework. As I told you guys, I'm using multiple programs that I created myself. I call them Remitar, okay? And each one is teaching me something new. If you're serious about reading the story behind the price, this is where it starts. Alright guys, so here we go. So today was one of those days again that it looked like a continuation, but it wasn't. Okay, we opened outside of value. Okay, and what I mean by that, guys, is this is where price is currently opening right before 7:30 a.m. and New York value is right here. This is where we're starting New York value. This is New York value area high, and this is New York value area low. Okay, so what else am I seeing here? Well, one, I see my mid, all right, my London mid, which is my purple section, my purple line, is outside and above New York value. I also see the new London's POC outside and above New York value. You'll also see that we have Asia's mid inside value, but it is kind of pointing north and it's leaning north. It's not leaking outside, but it's definitely leaning north, where you can tell that probably the halfway points of New York value somewhere around here, and even the POC for Asia was pointing leaning north. However, the one clue that I will say that threw me off a little bit today, and I'm realizing it just now, is that our POC was actually south of the mid. So that is kind of giving you a little hint that we may not continue as strong as we may believe to be. Okay, so price, everything said that it was going to go higher, guys, but the reality is that today price didn't trend. It actually rotated. Okay, so coming into New York, guys, a couple of things. One, we had price opening outside of value to the upside. Okay, we had one POC above. Okay, all right. Of course, we also had our New York POC, okay, inside New York value. All right, and overall the strength of the move looked like it was leading north, or naturally expectation is continuation, but something felt off. Now, what felt off? This didn't feel like a strong conviction type of day. Okay, even though everything aligned, it didn't have that clean expansion feel. I can't explain it. And that's really the first lesson, guys, that I want you to take from today, is that not every aligned setup is going to give you a strong trend. And like I said, I've learned this with time and time again. When they're really when they're lying and they look strong, they have a different feel. Today it just didn't. Okay. Again, this one POC here, if this would have been higher up, New York's POC would have been higher up. And I'm sorry, I think I got confused. This is what is it called? Asia's. This is New York's. But if New York's POC had been higher up here, I would have had a much stronger contemplation or belief that we were going to truly trend. Okay. All right. So what actually happened? Let's take a look what New York did. Okay. Okay. Now, first things first, guys. New York opened. What did I do? I placed my fib 0 where it opened. That's the first thing I did. All right. Now, the typical move outside value, it gave me the fake move up, the fail move down, and then it attempted continuation. All right. You can see that there. But instead of expanding to the upside, in other words, trying to get to the 1.5, the 1.75, or the 2, what did price do? Okay, it stalled. Okay, and transition into what I call a rotation. And you can see that clearly there. Okay, in fact, New York PM, there was nothing much different. It was clearly a rotation. All right. Now, I did take one trade today, and I want to talk about that here.
Legal services.
All right, so here we go. So I made one mistake early, guys, early on. Okay. Sorry, that's my kiddo right there. All right, so he's branding the dollars. He's like, show the money, Dad. All right, so this was the move to, and you know what? Let me just kind of bring down the volume here a little bit. All right, here we go. So, guys, when market opened up, I don't know if it was a Monday thing. Okay, I made one mistake early. I jumped in here early. I think it was the third candle. I saw that we were beginning to come outside of the 120 box here. And not only that, but I saw that Remitar had given me a rejection here. And as you guys know, this is one of the versions of Remitar, this cloud looking thing here. And it gave me some rejections here, and I thought to myself, oh, well, what if this is a, maybe I'm wrong. I said, what if this is one of those that it's going to trend or it's going to continue, but it's not going to really give me a fake and then a fail move. So I went in, and sure enough, it gave me some profit right around here, obviously. But they started coming back, and I knew at that moment, I'm okay. I said, we're into the fail move, and I didn't panic. I didn't get outside of the move or outside of the trade. I stayed in, and I knew it was going to come back down somewhere around 0 to negative 12, maybe negative 25. And the reason why I knew that is because of the 120 box here, right? But you know, one thing I've discovered is that when it lately, and I've seen when we have the fake fail move, when it goes to the, say, the 25, usually it rotates back to the 25. Now this time it traded, it went up to the 50. So chances are is that it's probably gonna come down to the negative 12. Okay, not saying that's a guaranteed, but that's what I see now. Now, why did I make this mistake early on? Because of this here. My Remitar post migration hadn't happened just yet, and And that's when I realized, okay, I jumped in early, but I knew that migration was going to happen somewhere around this range, right? But I didn't panic. I let price do its thing, come down. Once we started coming back up and we were back showing longs position, I basically doubled up my position, okay? And from here to here, I was targeting the 62, to be honest with you. But when I got to the 50, this made me feel a little bit uncomfortable right here. I wasn't sure. And like I said, okay, thank you, baby. Like I said, this right here was kind of giving me I think an early tell that my hunch was telling me that it wasn't going to go very far. And so what did I do? I exited somewhere in between. I think it was right around here, to be honest with you. I saw that, 5 minutes later. Well, actually, I saw that a minute later. Price did hit the 62. It did eventually want to go to the 87, but look at this candle though. This was a major wick. It was a quick in and out candle. And so after that, price just started coming back down. It came back to the auction zero, and right there, price continued to just simply rotate. You saw that it really never got above and stayed above my Remitar 2.0, which is these three lines here. You see these three lines right here, and it never stayed above it. So I was glad that I listened to my intuition. My hunch told me it just didn't look strong for me. Not to mention that we were coming off of the Easter holiday weekend. Okay, for Good Friday, market was closed, and there was no New York liquidity built during that Friday. So even though the things were aligning and they were showing me that we were going to go into continuation, it was going to be a short-lived continuation. And what did it do? It ended up rotating. Now, like I said, I made the mistake here early, and after having the experience that I've seen the market over and over, learning it, video journaling, these journals have helped me a lot too. It gave me the confidence, once it started coming back into the cloud. Even though the cloud is a no trade zone, somewhere in here I decided to double my size, increased it, and this ended up being a 1500 plus profit today. It was definitely, it wasn't perfection, but definitely it was control. I felt like I was in control. All right. So the key lesson, guys, of today is this: that this was a weak continuation day. It wasn't a strong continuation day, and what I'm learning is this: is that even though when everything is pointing in one direction, guys, you still have to read how price is moving. Okay, I mean, from here to here, the move started looking good. It was when I started getting here again to the 50. I was like, I saw this first candle, second one, third one, fourth one, and I was like, and I'm telling you, I had it at 62, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I said, it's not gonna go very far today, and you know what? It didn't even reach the one today. So I was happy to see that I read the behavior, okay, and the POCs gave me direction, but the behavior told me the truth. Now I'm gonna be honest again. If New York's POC had been higher, I think I would have been a little more optimistic. But that POC I felt like being below both mids kind of just gave me a little bit of a clue. But again, what gave me the clue was the behavior here. I just didn't feel like it truly was gonna go beyond the 6. Well, I mean, it went beyond the 62, but I just didn't feel safe. And like I said, it was just really one candle. Then it was a quick spike. It grabbed liquidity for people that were possibly having long orders here. It stopped them out. Okay. And you know what's the final takeaway, guys? And I call this my playbook energy. Is that not every outside value is opens trends. Okay, not every outside value opens trends. Some days we get continuation, some days you get rotation afterwards. You might get a little bit of a continuation, but then you get a rotation. And if you don't recognize that shift, that change that it's coming, you're going to overtrade the wrong idea. Because for some traders, they were saying perhaps today, hey, we opened outside of value, it's got a trend, so price came back here. And I kid you not, when it came back down here at one point, I was like, okay, this might be the move. I kind of saw it, but I was already content with the trade I had made. My intuition was telling me stay out of it. Okay, I feel like if it was gonna be a real continuation type of day, somewhere around here it would have came back, hit this auction zero, and then it would have really taken off. But that wasn't the case. It went to the 87 and it started coming back, and that right there was giving us like it felt the behavior was like we're going into rotational mode. And so you don't want to overtrade the wrong idea. Okay, a while back ago I had one of those big lesson days, and boy, when you rotate the wrong idea, you can go into this revenge trading mode, and all of a sudden your gains can completely go down for a while. Alright guys, so what I'm going to close with this saying is this is why journaling matters. This is why they say every real trader that's taking trading serious, you have to journal. Whether it's on paper, your own notes, a spreadsheet, okay, whatever the case may be, you have to journal. I'm doing my journaling through video journaling. Why? Because I can always go back, look at the market that day, look at what I spoke about. Most importantly, look at my pinned comment, which I already tell you I put the video journal there. I put a picture, a link to a screenshot that shows pre-New York, and now I'm going to show post-New York. Why? Because that's how you're going to recognize things faster. And literally, this is how I developed the intuition for outside value initial moves. Okay, when I say, and it's going to give you the fake move, the fail move, and then the real move. But within the real move, there's still going to be a variation, where it's going to, again, fake move, fail move, and then the real move may come back and do a couple of rotations, compressions, tag, and then go. Okay. But yeah, guys, so journaling does matter. It's gonna make a difference, because now I've seen this. Every day that you see something and you journal about it, you're gonna recognize it faster the next time. Okay. All right. So this concludes today's video. As always, guys, everything I post on this channel is for educational purposes. It's not financial advice. But if you learned something today and you want to continue this journey with me, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Till next time.